This is America's petroleum pipeline system, the world's largest, going to nearly all 50 states. Its 200,000-mile network of pipelines and related technology is managed and maintained by thousands of experienced people. They're responsible for carrying 2/3 of the petroleum that's used for 97% of America's transportation energy. Energy that's relied on for personal travel, delivery of goods, and for our national defense. They also carry raw materials for many of the nation's core industries, including agriculture, pharmaceuticals, and plastics. In fact, these pipelines are America's supply line for countless goods and services we depend on every day. Pipelines carry most of the nation's petroleum for 3 reasons: efficiency, reliability, and safety. Efficiency is important to making products more affordable for everyone.
Pipelines are the most efficient way to transport commodities throughout the United States. In fact, they transport approximately 17% of the freight throughout the United States and only 2% of the freight cost. In fact, that translates into pennies per gallon to transport commodities safely to market.
These pipelines bring fuel from Pasadena, Texas to Hammond, Indiana. Most people probably don't know how the gasoline for their cars gets to them. They probably think it comes by trucks, but that's only for the last few miles. We do most of the work here with these pipelines.
That's why individual pipelines are not confined to transporting a single product. Water-filled spheres are used to separate different product batches, and the principles of hydraulics carry commodities through the pipeline one after the other. In addition, as common carriers, pipelines usually transport products produced and owned by many companies, not just one.
Pipelines are also a very efficient way to transport fuels direct from a refinery straight to a major airport, service military bases or other critical distribution facilities. A single pipeline will take care of that.
Without these pipelines being in service, you would literally have thousands of trucks on the highways and local streets.
Attempting to move that volume of product by truck increases overall fuel consumption and also has a negative impact on air quality.
Reliability is key because disruptions anywhere along the system can have a direct impact on our economy and national interests. California's electricity supply crisis is teaching everyone an important lesson about how much we depend on petroleum pipelines.
During this energy crisis, of course, everyone has been really scrambling in order to get the lines back up and running and working with the power companies and the government in order to supply services badly needed. It has the real potential for significant disruption to the economy, and as much as if they're down a few days, hospitals are affected, emergency response agencies can be affected. Of course, airports are very critical in their supply as well as the motoring public.
To ensure reliability, each pipeline system is custom built according to local, state, and federal government regulations and professional specifications to match the terrain and products moved in that system. As a result, a pipeline system can be a single line with pipe that is uniform in diameter, or it can be far more complex with multiple lines of different pipe diameters and intermediate points where petroleum is received, delivered, or stored. In most cases, pipelines are buried in closed systems underground. That's particularly the case in populated areas.
It's certainly safer. It keeps the pipeline out of the way of the encroachment of population. It also happens to be aesthetically a great deal more pleasing.
Above-ground pipelines are constructed based on specific considerations involving climate and terrain, and occasionally, pipelines must be constructed to go underwater. Safety, however, is the #1 consideration for all pipeline operators. And modern pipelines are the safest way to move petroleum within the United States, according to U.S. government statistics. Here's why. Today's pipelines are highly automated and operated from computerized centers by people trained to maintain proper rates of flow and pressure throughout the system.
A control room is operated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The various instrumentation along the pipeline is always being monitored by the control system and the controller on shift. The pipeline controller is the primary operating authority on a pipeline system. They can, if they either have a feeling or a sense that there's a pipeline problem, shut down the system, and they are authorized to call out as many resources as needed to look into the condition.
Pipeline controllers take their job very seriously. We are operating two mainline pipelines that run from the Gulf Coast to the Midwest, and it's a lot of responsibility.
Our controllers are extensively trained to respond to emergency conditions.
We had to undergo several hundred hours of training to fulfill the requirements needed to become a pipeline controller, along with several tests. I worked with an experienced operator for a period of 6 months.
Along the pipeline, staff is trained to maintain the line and to respond to any possible problem. They regularly inspect and perform needed and preventative maintenance on the system. In the event of an emergency, response plans have been developed in cooperation with the local fire department and other emergency team members. They often train and participate in drills with pipeline employees. Research and technology play a critical role in maintaining and improving safety and ensuring there are no unnecessary disruptions in petroleum supply. All pipelines are made of high-strength materials, usually steel, that must meet strict manufacturing codes, strength tests, and inspection standards that begin at the factory and continue even after the line goes into operation. Even with these measures, major cause of pipeline spills is corrosion. To reduce or eliminate its effects, pipelines employ a number of technologies. Cathodic protection, which is required on all interstate pipelines, subjects pipelines to low-voltage electrical currents that counteract corrosion. Pipeline coating materials and quality control practices also have been improved. And internal inspection instruments called smart pigs in the industry have onboard sensors and computers that check inside most cross-country pipelines for defects or corrosion. The sensors in smart pigs help locate small weaknesses or dents in the pipeline walls so preventative maintenance can be performed before there's any possibility of a leak. Pipeline companies also conduct ground and aerial surveys on a regular basis, constantly checking their lines. Overall, however, the most common cause of accidents along pipelines is people digging into the lines. Because digging accidents are especially preventable, the pipeline industry joined with other underground utilities and the U.S. Department of Transportation in a major safety initiative called Dig Safely. It's a top priority in the industry and is designed to educate excavators, communities, and pipeline right-of-way neighbors about the importance of digging safely.
So many of our subdivisions are moving into areas that were formerly undeveloped, areas that are also occupied by our pipelines.
To provide further assistance, utilities and pipeline companies have set up and financed state one-call centers that excavators should contact before they begin digging. If excavation could expose the pipe, a representative will closely monitor activities to ensure the pipeline is protected.
Our primary goal at Explorer Pipeline and all the safety and training initiatives and the technologies we use is to provide incident-free pipeline operations.
That's a commitment shared by all pipeline operators. As the oil pipeline industry continues to make important steps to further improve safety, it's also working to increase efficiency and ensure reliability. So much of what is fundamental to our way of life and to our economy comes to us from this vast and complicated infrastructure, America's supply line. To learn more, visit our website at www.aopl.org.